All right, so I wanted you to see this, these two pictures here and talk about both those a little bit. This is, on the left-hand side, is a relay control box, and the right-hand side is the same box controlled with a PLC. They're both controlling the same process. Basically what we've got is we've got two pumps that pump in fluids, and you can have any variant of pump 1 and pump 2 that you like. Then it mixes those two liquids together, it heats them up, and then it drains the tank. And why do we go PLC? Well, look at the difference between this relay box over here and this PLC box over here. They're doing the same thing. They're accomplishing the same end result. Which would you rather troubleshoot if there were a failure? Because with this guy, this relay may be doing something that interacts with this relay, which may interact with this one, and so forth and so on. Now, the same thing is happening here, but it's in a seemingly much more logical way that you got here. So you got the same number of inputs, essentially, and the same number of outputs, perhaps, but it's all going into this PLC, and the program that you have is what drives what happens when an input is set or not set, or a combination of inputs are set or not set. So this is one of the reasons why we use PLCs. You add up the cost of all these relays and the complexity of the wiring and the complexity of the troubleshooting, the fact that you eliminate a couple of these timer relays, because PLCs has their own internal timers as well. Just get a nicer setup, and easier to troubleshoot, in my opinion, setup, and you save yourself a lot of time in build as well, because you can see this would probably be easier to wire and build than its relay counterpart. So everything on the left is just switches and buttons and lamps. And so everything you see here and here is literally identical. The only difference is over here it's connecting these relays. Over here they're connecting to this PLC. So that's why we use PLCs over relay logic, because these guys may be $12, $15, $20 a piece depending on what type of relay, but you've got, 11 in total. You start adding up the cost of that and the time it takes to do that, and then not to mention relays are mechanical devices, and even though this may use some relay type things in here, these things have a higher failure rate a lot of times than PLCs do as far as inputs and outputs. So it's a personal preference, I suppose. If you spent your entire life doing relay controlled stuff, probably a little reluctant to go with PLC, and if you've spent a good portion of your life messing with PLC stuff, you would definitely be more reluctant to have to move back to the relay world. In reality, we do a combination of both. We're still interfacing with some relays with this guy, just as we are here, but not nearly as many. We can accomplish the same end result with a lot less hardware overall. So